Hello people who might want to watch me try and get these rear quarter panels ready to prime. I'm gonna be doing what I did do on the other panels, and that's let the primer cure for a week, because I want to ensure that the primer sticks so the paint can stick, and I don't end up with stuff that's, well, subpar. Don't know if I showed it on the last video, but yeah, I've got the headlights in. It's been a bit. I've been sidetracked by the Jeep, and it's looking good. I'm quite happy with it. I've still got the splash guards to put in. I think I'm gonna have to remove the front wheels in order to get the splash guards, the engine splash guards, in place. Let me see what I can see, because I definitely need to. There we go. That one's about ready to prime. I got it ready last week. It didn't have much. I do have to prep the crack that's right there. It only had one crack in it that I can recall. That's the passenger side. No, driver's side. Yeah, that's the driver's side. It does have a pretty bad gouge in it right in here. So I will try and fill that in with primer as much as possible, but I'm not going to go head deep in it. I guarantee you that. I just want to get them covered. When these rear quarter panels go in place, I'll be able to drive the car, but the rear bumper reinforcement is off, and I'm going to have to drill and tap those to get it back in place. But when I get these on, I can put the tail lights in and go back to driving this thing. I'll start a new job September 9th. Had the breakage that is actually right in here, and also right here. I was thinking earlier maybe I can do some 3D printing and just try and find something to replace what is broken here. It doesn't matter if it's going to be overlapped. The hood closes in on top of this, and this is just the rear mount. What somebody did to band-aid it, literally drilled holes here and here through the body and put screws in. They didn't even bother to seal it, so yeah, they leak water inside. I've got some rust to deal with in the trunk. It's around the spare tire area, and it is kind of humid out here. I probably should have came out earlier this morning, but I was being lazy. Hurt my forearm and elbow working on a Jeep, so I've been trying to take it easy and let that heal up. But let me get my phone out of harm's way. Because once I get going, water will be necessary. I've already coated. This is a mess. Absolute mess. Most of it's covered, but what is not is right in here. There's another panel that sits right along this edge. So what's not covered is that right there. I may have to just deal with that. This stuff is already cured. I did it last night on some of it, and other parts of it I did a week ago. This was actually broke, and this is the side that the rear light actually did not sit in its socket correctly, and this this was actually broke. So I just plastered that in. This is not exposed. It's just support for the back brake light and parking lights. That's it. Alright. Anyway, let's see where I'm at. I don't even remember if I sanded this panel down. Don't look like I did. Will my phone sit over there okay? A little better view for me. Now I can look at you, look at what I'm doing. One thing I did notice, that holds the bumper in place. It's not rivets, it's the plastic holders. So those two are going to have to be replaced without a doubt. I've got plenty. Hopefully I've got the right size for them. I'll cut those off and get them replaced. I'll take these out and replace them with something different. It's just a couple of spots that the bumper actually locks in. This piece is broken. It was already like that. So, yep, this car's a mess. But, you know, it is what it is. I'm going to get it pieced back together, painted, looking nice, and drive it. The star of the show has arrived. Hey, Simba. Say hi. Meow, meow. Meow. Yeah, it is kind of humid out here. Okay, got a spot I need to address here. It needs to be leveled out. I didn't bother doing any leveling on this stuff when I did it last weekend. As a matter of fact, I waited until I think Sunday to rush to get that done. Got that in over there and got this locked in place so it can actually be held like it's supposed to be. So, 320 sandpaper, yeah. I think it might need to be cleaned. Sandpaper getting clogged. You gotta love when sandpaper gets clogged. And this Velcro stuff, boy, I tell you what. That hook and loop, boy, that really sticks. And this kind of universal stuff, it's not made by Ryobi. I didn't buy that brand. Although they do offer it. Diablo. Boy, that name sounds familiar for a game. This thing is the worst at blowing off. That's it. Yeah. It is nice to keep the dust down, but if it blows off, it ain't. Yeah, it's not very useful. Well, I got most of it. If you don't twist it on there good and tight, it will fly off. On. That's what I'm talking about right there. Leave it one spot too long, it'll take the paint clean off. sand right there. Probably a good idea just to go ahead and remove it and paint it with the trim. I'm not finding much luck on places selling the paint that I'm after, and I'm probably going to have to end up driving that hour and 45 minutes south to get the same brand and color. I'm gonna dread that, but it is what it is, and I gotta do what I gotta do. And I'm actually planning on, I don't know who had the red complex disorder, but they literally put custom trim around the vents, and as you can see, it's red. Why? I have no idea. It would look much better at silver, or the blue I'm painting the car. And they even put a custom red cover on the cab light inside, the overhead light. They put a red cover over the light. I've recently changed it out to an LED light. It is much brighter, and I also had to spend $10 for a clear cover, clear factory cover to go over it. But these, they're either going to be silver or blue that I'm painting the car. But so those will be done with the trim work. I've got all body panel trim, the ground effect cover down at the bottom, and then around the doors themselves, and it goes all the way back here. The rear quarter panel actually goes up through here, and then gets covered over by the trim that goes back this way. That's how it goes together. And this thing is going to need a bath. It's been sitting for about a month. Bunch of dust. But it'll get cleaned much later. So, sander, I'm back to doing this deed. This part of it is actually exposed in this edge, but about right in here it starts getting covered by the other panel. So that's why I'm trying to reform that. It was actually broken pretty bad and gapped open. I got it together according to the edges back here, and got the edge on the back side even on the farther side, and then filled it all in. Hand sandpaper. That's a slight edge. By the time I get through priming that and sanding it a couple of rounds, it should smooth out okay. What is that? And there's another one right there. Sandpaper, I think, is in the water. Yes, it is. And it's full of sandpaper. I mean, paint. Awesome. Okay. Looks like I'm missing a bumper. I don't want to paint the bumper, so that's going to be a commodity item. I may want to put in the cup holder. The trim that goes along here, I've done something with it. I'm not going to stress over it. It'll turn up. I'm hoping I didn't throw it away because it was in pretty bad shape. I can't find any. Not too sure what I'm going to do about it just yet. But it also assists on holding the panel in. I just bought 2 new mirrors today, so they'll be in Tuesday, I think it was saying. Carparts.com. Probably be just as well to leave that gas cover right where it's at. Oh, any of you that's got a Saturn and needs to replace your gas cap and you do factory, $51. Yeah, I about fell over. And third-party gas caps may not work for evap problems. So, like, you need a gas cap because the one you got is incredibly wore out. Then you keep getting message check gas cap after you've replaced it. And it's not factory, then you most likely just got a bad one. Inadequate. Can I say made in China? That could be a reason. You pay $10 for a gas cap in factory once. $51, of course, factory parts are always more expensive. That's a given. Alright, wash it off, let it dry. Probably not the video to talk about, but those of you that actually looked over my channel, you know I worked on a Jeep. I had a major power steering leak. Well, it turns out Dodge actually put a steel line underneath the AC condenser coil on the body rail. That was steel. Well, yeah, I did say steel, but yeah, steel line. All of the salt, water, road grime, dust, everything goes up in that area. So the line that they used, and mind you, it was just a loop line. It come out, went around, that's it, mounted to the body. Well, it rusted. Pipe was about this long. This much of it had a really bad leak. I mean, it was rusted really bad. I couldn't keep fluid in the power steering. I'd fill it, and about 10, 20 miles later it'd be empty again. So I had to fix that. It didn't take too awful long, about an hour. It wasn't too difficult either. If you've got a half-inch pipe cutter, little dinky thing, I bought one for doing brake lines a long while back. It cut it just fine, and I got lucky and it wasn't far enough back to where I had to disconnect the lines over on the firewall inner fender well where the tire is. So that was a nice perk. Added some Lucas treatment to it, and some, of course, normal power steering fluid. Got no groaning. Steering is nice and smooth. And then I had to deal with an oil leak the next day. Major valve cover gasket leaking in the back side, right on the exhaust manifold. I mean, that thing was just smoking really bad. Kind of like drive down the road, and then when you got to stop at a traffic light, smoke rolling out, coming in through the vents. Yeah, it was bad. One of those embarrassing situations. And then people staring at you like, is your car on fire? Should I leave? Do I need to get away from you? That is a serious fire hazard, though. When I got the valve cover off, the rubber gasket had completely hardened and cracked in 3 places. So it was leaking bad. It took 2 days for the smell to go away. That's how bad it was leaking. Alright, that Zenseer, it is actually compatible with sprayers, or it says it is. So I'm going to take its word for it. I think I'll cut this thing off because, well, there's nothing left of holding it. Scissors are inside the house. I don't have enough. One of these is actually not too awful bad. It's still hanging in there. I just don't want to paint it. Oh, that's a skinny mini little thing. Where's all my doodads? Ah, right there. The rotator on this thing keeps coming loose. It's annoying. Little skinny mini things. Oh, what do I have in it? I've still got some touching up to do on the button caps. Yeah, that ain't gonna work. I'm probably gonna have to pick up something from Amazon. Those are chunky. There's some thinner ones. Probably not thin enough. Definitely not thin enough. Those are a pretty good size too. I need to set those together. Grab one of these and see if it fits. I think the only thing that's going to fit in that is that screw. I could always change the screw hole size. Couldn't change it by much though. And that dang near fits. But it's not long enough. Yeah, even by the time, unless I put it through the opposite direction. Let me wipe my screen off right here. Yeah. Boy, that's weird. That fender actually looks shiny, except for here. But it's still wet right here. Really not long enough, but the screw going down through that may actually hold it. Yeah, probably not. And now that I'm looking at it, it needs to go up and hook on the top. So that means taking a look on the net and trying to find something that will accommodate that, because it's broken. I mean, that's not going to hold that bumper, and that's exactly what that piece is for. Hold the bumper in place. Must not have shinies. In here, don't care. As long as the primer sticks and it holds the paint. It's not going to take much of a beating in there anyway. I did sand it. All the paint's got to do in here is stay and look pretty. That's it. Paint burned clean through. My, how thin some of this paint is. Alright, now I need to let it dry. Only if I had a proper prop. Need to let it dry so I can prep clean it with glass cleaner and get ready to prime it. I'm not going to worry too much about all this. That's hidden. And the trim locks into this right here. So I guess I could shove the paint bucket over here to hold the end, because this panel is wanting to swing. Okay, I'm going to let that sit and dry, and prep clean it for primer. So, time to take a break. I gotta prep clean the other one for primer too. I've already did everything on it. Be back in a movie second. Anyway, time to clean up. I gotta do the cleanup prep for primer. The star of the show is here. He hangs around with me a lot. Yeah, say hi. Say hi. I have only one bar left in battery, so if I'm going to do any more footage, I will have to change cameras, and I have no idea how much battery I've got left. The software that reads a photo that the camera's seeing does not tell me the battery, so there's that too. I guess I could take that off and mend it to the other part. I think the other side's got the entire bracket on it. Yeah, it goes all the way around. Passenger side is where the rear bumper reinforcement was completely destroyed. I am going to sand that just a bit. Feel that damn ridge separating. Did I miss something? I sure did. And it re-cracked. Well, my day's done. Not even grabbing it. Well, I guess the good news is that's not a viewable area. And that's also what I was talking about on the bumper, where it's broke all the way down to the edge. Those edges take a lot of stress, and if they break apart, well, that just gives it an excuse to go on and rip all the way up. Make sure I take the paint off this time. And I went all the way through it. Oh me, one thing after another. What do I do with the stuff? There it is. Don't have much to do, so I ain't gonna bother getting much of that out. Of course the vice grips are going to be in the way. It has to hold the distance as the edge is supposed to be. Sorry, people. Gotta get this inside edge. Now I need a prop. Not too sure how that happened, but okay, whatever. Now I gotta leave a pair of vice grips on there on that very tip. It's not a whole lot, but it's enough to bind the edges straight and hold it. I put about an 1/8 inch gap in that crack to fill it in with that stuff. It bonds to the plastic and the itself pretty well. But if you just try and cover a crack with it, forget it. You might as well not even bother taking it out of the tube. Alright, now, that's a wrap. I gotta let that cure, plus it's on the face of it. So, yeah, like I said, my day's done. I thought I got that, but I guess that's what I get for thinking. Once it starts to cure up, it is sandable. But as you guys seen earlier, you try to wet sand it, it's nope. Starts peeling off. Now, how did I make that much of a mess? Ah. Crazy glasses. They never stay on my face when I'm looking down. They gradually just slide right off. Yes, it is late. It's after 7. Pretty sure. What do I gotta do? Pull down here. Oh yeah, 7:24. Yeah, bad time of the day in this yard to paint anything, but I had to let that crack cure. As I was saying last time around, I only had one bar left in my battery, and it died out. I think 10 minutes before I realized it died. So I'll have that much of it adjusted out or cut, and body shims that was in this thing, from what I'm seeing, pretty much uncalled for. I would like to get a little better gap right in here. Bumper needs to go over that way. But the only way I'm going to do that is get the two fenders to move that way. And with that crack as narrow as it is, no, not happening. So I'll live with it like it is. Now this, let's see, can you guys see that? No. So, oh, look at you, watch me. Sincere all-surface primer, and it is made by Rust-Oleum. Also, sprayer compatible. It is water-based. I'm gonna try it. It does have plastic listed as a surface that it will adhere to, so that's awesome, because I got plenty of burn-through spots where the paint was incredibly thin, all along, most of it along the edges, but some of it actually on the body. It's like there, right in there, and also there, and here as well. I guess that's in focus. Okay. Oh, yeah. Right here. And I went on and took the gas cap cover off. I thought it'd be a good idea just to set it over there. I got the gas cap back in the car where it belongs. It's been off for the last couple of months, so that gas is probably getting kind of nasty. Hopefully I don't have any trouble with it. I just ran the car yesterday for about 30 minutes. It did just fine. Purring right along. It was nice. And this stuff is gonna need to be stirred big time. I need a cup. I need a cup to pour that in and get them mixed. If I can get it to balance. Now, that will pour in that can out of that plastic and maybe even clear out. Okay, I need to go grab my tack cloth. I have already done all the prep work I need to do to get these things sprayed. I just got my air compressor pulled out and the paint gun hooked up. I do need to tack cloth it though to get what little dust off there is. I blew it off with the air gun. I'll work out something to fix that plastic on that fender so I can mount it down proper and not have water going inside the fender. I just don't get it. I mean, somebody could have used a plexiglass piece or some polycarbonate in order to fix that broken plastic. And the plastic, I'd say the plastic was broken because it got hit on that side. And that's a pretty safe thing to say. I'm wearing my chest camera. I'm seriously not used to it. I am not going to spray this at all. It is hidden by the tail light. But some of this I will spray, like around the edges. The tail lights do have a rubber gasket around the edge, but they don't cover completely. Trying to do the gas cap. I don't want to touch it. Okay, all good. Now, to take this, put it in that, and try not to paint my phone. Put the lid over here. That has ran out all it's going to run out. Whoa, that shit's thick. I'm going to try this without making it any thinner. I had an awful time for that last stuff. It was a pro at doing runs. In fact, my passenger door panel is proof of that. I got mad about the runs and took my hand and just started wiping the panel down. I did sand it. I sanded it down what looked like to be smooth, but my handprints from the skin texture all in your hands, it's actually showing in the panel if you look at it just right. So that paint's ruined. Oh, yay. Give me paint on my AC condenser. Lovely. And I'd really like to have this out in the open. Alright, that's got paint. I guess we'll see how long this lasts before I put water in it. Gun's turned up to 30 psi. Not quite. Yep, 32 psi. That's a bit narrow. Right there. Okay, let's give this a shot. I can't stand on the side because of that box. I guess I could move it. It's got all the plastic trim work in it. Except for, of course, what's in the cab. Pulling this trigger 100%. I just want to do a light coat and that's it. And hopefully a quart is going to be enough to do these. That'll pretty much tell me a lot on whether I'm going to have enough paint to do these two. Huh, brush marks against the edge. Well, ain't that special. Okay, another imperfection for the shadow. Shadow. What am I thinking? Saturn. Stuff covers good. Now if it'll lay down flat, that'll be excellent. I need to stand on the other side. Well, let's just move that out of the way. Rain is definitely not going to hurt that. Huh, that sounds weird. Well, I guess I'll let my compressor catch up for a minute. I mainly want to hit the edges first. You know, this gun's spraying that primer okay. There's really not that much orange peel in that. I mean, it's not definite flat, but it's not too bad. They caught up. Awesome. Now to go get these edges. I really didn't want to paint that piece, but it looks like it's going to get it anyway. The scratch in the plastic's showing up now. I have to cover that underside, so sorry people. Almost getting too dark to see anything. Who am I trying to kid? It is too dark to see anything. After you get your first coat on, you can pretty much sand it. Just wet sand it, smooth it down if they come out rough. Let my compressor catch up. How much we got left? Well, I've used about half of that on both these panels so far. I'll wet sand it in the places that need it. For sure. The imperfection zone, it'll definitely have to be wet sanded and then re-primed. Those spots, you know, you gotta try and get them filled in. Unless you don't care, you could just leave them and let them be viewable. Which with this car, it's got so many imperfections in it, I'll be happy that it just looks better. How big is my compressor anyway? Yeah, it's a Cobalt. One of these, I think it's a 10 gallons. Or CFM. And one of those, I forgot what that's called. But it's not an old school deal. That's kind of rough. Hi, Simba. Yeah, he pretty much hangs out where I do. Well, how in the hell did that happen? Don't touch the panel. I am going to need to pull that out. Looks good. Yeah, I got a little thin right here. Must have went a little too fast. Too fast is better than too slow and a bunch of runs, that's for sure. You know, I'd really hate to paint my hand. Just dawned on me, I forgot to put my mask on too. I'm about done now, so that paint on this thing on the sides was so thin it actually exposed metal. Dirt. Not good. I'll tell you what, people, that didn't do too bad. And I still got some left over. Wow. This stuff really covers. So I guess you could say this is going to be a review on that stuff, because I'm actually spraying it with a spray gun. And you guys seen me use the other stuff. Quite honestly, it was horrid. Okay, and it's at this point, I'm really wishing I had a place to put this gun. I don't want this exposing any edges when I wet sand it. The gas cap cover most likely got dirt in it from the table, even though I did blow it off. Yeah, it's starting to dry. I'm pretty happy with how that's spraying. I think I just seen a light spot. Unless it's drying. Yeah, it might be drying. You guessed it, I'm spraying the crap out of that because, well, it's going to take a lot of sanding to get it sorted out. And this crack over here too, I can't even see it. Alright, put this stuff up. No, don't fall off on the ground upside down. Yes, yes, don't do that. This stuff is thick. Now I can't do this with that paint, that car paint. Oh God. Last time I mixed it 1 part, 8 parts paint, 1 part thinner. Well, it didn't lay down too good. Didn't spray too good either. Hate to waste that. I really do. Here's the part I hate, clean up. 32 psi seemed to work out pretty decent. I'm going to be out here tomorrow. The acetone that I had in it, preserving it, didn't even dry out, so that water won't either. I'll ditch it tomorrow, and I just moved my fan. Ooh. Whoops. So people, until tomorrow, which will be Sunday, I seem to be doing a lot of Sundays. I'll see you in a movie second, but it will be tomorrow. Have a good one. Hello, people. Early morning AM, 9 o'clock. Oh, looks like I got a run overnight. Well, that's interesting. Actually, that is morning dew. Oh, that's a shadow. That's why it's reflective. It's got morning dew on it. So, I suppose, let me see where something's not wet here. It should have flashed. I mean, yeah, it did. Enough dew built on it to run down. Not too sure about right here whether it flashed or not. I'll find out more later. I definitely got to do something with those 2 marks. Yes, I'm using my other camera. I could take these spinners and set them on the front porch and let them dry out. The sun's out already and it'll be beating on the porch here pretty soon. Game plan for today. Well, number one is get these things dried out. Yeah, there's even morning dew on the gas cover. Down on the bottom. See that? So, yeah, I wasn't expecting, well, kind of was, but then again, not really. At least I was concerned about it and hoping it flashed before the dew set in. According to this, it looks like runs, so most likely not. For here, I did spray pretty heavy. I've got the external microphone plugged up. Hopefully it's not echoing. If it is, then yeah, I'm gonna have to try and learn how to get rid of that echo, because it's just really annoying. Hey, where is the sun right now? I know that it's gonna be behind a big tree. Yeah, for the most part. Right up there. It's right here. So it won't be above the porch until right around 11, I guess. The star of the show has arrived. Right there. See? Hi, Simba. Say hi. Come here. Bumper's going to be a mess. what I'm actually considering doing. I know I'm going to do the usual. I'll let the panel sit for a week for the primer to cure, because I feel it'd be best. Because, you know, the other stuff I used, I didn't read everything on the can for this primer, but the other stuff said to, well, it said to spray within 7 days to ensure maximum bond and a cure to plastic. And I'm going to assume that this stuff is going to be the same way. I'll probably read the can here in a bit. It's a shame about this, although I did paint it kind of heavy here to try and cover those cracks. And that plastic stuff does pit. I may just get some spot filler. And this spot right here, it's got some scuff marks in it. I could buy some body spot filler. That'll take care of that, flush it out. It can be on primer, just fresh sanded primer. Not too sure what I'm going to do about this from the looks of it. It's actually sprayed pretty smooth. It does have some dust debris in it, so I guess I'll have to wet sand it to smooth it down for the final coat. If it stays coated and does not expose any paint, I'll leave it that way. But if it exposes paint, I'll have to spray them again. And that's one of the reasons I tried to cover the edges as good as I did. But yeah, that Zenseer covers good. Covers good. It sprays okay at 32 psi on the gun. And with what I showed earlier, I just pointed the fan down and opened it up till it basically would not widen out anymore, and then squeezed it back down just a bit. Hopefully I don't have to fight too much with getting that mess sorted out. But I'm going to have to spray that again, most likely. Yeah, that stuff laid down nice and flat. I'm quite happy with that primer. It's definitely cheaper. Now, if it sticks, fantastic. But, you know, the original paint on this thing, both of them did have paint. It was base coat clear. Did not have any clear coat failing. But, you know, my sander did burn through some of the paint in spots. But they look okay. I just need them to dry. So, until a little bit later, I'll see ya. Well, as you can see, I didn't do nothing today. I did go ahead and sand that down and get the high point down to low and leave the gap in there so I can start filling it in. And the pits, I don't know what I'm going to do about that yet, other than some spot filler. That's about the only thing I can figure. At the other side, it's a lot better. I am gonna, let's see if I can get this light on. Okay, I got the light on. Yeah, you can see the light spots in with the dark spots there in that crack. The shadow above is the microphone that I've got. It's actually in the light. And back over here where the other two cracks are. Yeah, right here. That's the only two defects that I really got. Morning dew got to it too early and started making the paint run. I read the instructions on that Zenseer, and it actually says it's maximum bond within 7 days. So, and with me trying to dry sand it, I didn't wet sand it, I dry sanded it. And it was like it was rolling up little chunks of paint with 400 grit. So I'm not going to mess with it too much. This is from Morning Dew. Sitting on it. I'll do some minor touch-ups. Probably about midweek. I'll give it a couple of days to let it sit and cure up a little better. And then maybe do a little more sanding, scuff it up, and drop a few ounces in the sprayer and touch these spots up, because it needs to be done before I do my final coat. And I'm going to do the color coat this weekend, coming weekend. Not today, of course, because I am not going to jump the gun and this stuff not have maximum bond. And well, you know, acrylic enamel, got to go over top of it. I just want to make sure that it stays just like the rest of this. Ain't that pretty? I think it's freaking gorgeous. I am going to like this car a lot better the way it is now. I get it done and back to driving and I'll be glad. But that's a little ways out. I planned on spending 2 months on it with it tore down and getting it all painted, but it looks like it's going to take 3. And a trip an hour and 45 minutes southeast to match, get the same kind of paint that I had to start with. Not too sure if I'll get a couple of quarts or a whole gallon kit. I don't know. Just depends on how much money I've got. I know the primary body part of it is going to take a gallon. I've probably got about 1.5 quarts of paint left. And that should be plenty to take care of these 2 panels, but I've still got trim work and rear spoiler and trunk lid cover and rear bumper. It's still quite a bit. But when I get the rear quarters on and the tail lights in, I can drive it if I need to, or if I just want to for giggles. At least I'll have all the lights on it and be street legal. Okay, until next time around, I'll catch you in a minute. I don't know what it is about this thing, but sometimes it wants me to hit the record button 3 or 4 times. Okay, rear quarter panels are done, and I'm gonna join this in on the rest. Let's do a small test. I've got the little external mic plugged up right here. I'm gonna unplug it and see if it echoes or stops echoing. Okay, that's without the external mic. You know, it'd been smart of the engineers to disconnect that internal microphone when you got another mic plugged in. As you can see, it is 7:17. Rear quarter panels are done. Folks, this is the last episode I'm going to be doing on this. Quite honestly, nobody really seems to want to see it. I'm not getting that many views, which is fine. And for the ones that do watch this, I thank you. And you know, the Aero Pro Plus. You know, this is a review, pretty much, for A610. Aero Pro. This is the gun I've been using on this entire car. I've been doing primer only with the Harbor Freight gun because of what it did to me one time on the primer for the hood, top, and trunk. And that triggered me to get a gun for paint. And I am definitely glad I did. As you can see, it's the same quality. I've got reflection. There is some mild orange peel, more than the rest of the car in these panels. That could be partly my fault because it is a little dark out here. And I kind of rushed through getting them painted. It looks good. It's not too awful bad, but you know, polishable one day. But as far as the Bullseye Zenseer 123 primer, well, this stuff didn't wrinkle up on it, so that's good. That's great. I did have to do some touch up, and there's going to be an imperfection where the cracks were here. I did get some body filler and lightly fill it in, and I also ended up with a bare spot and had to go back over it with another coat of primer in the bare spots that popped up. That primer on plastic will let you know if that surface is not clean after you have when you start color sanding, well, wet sanding, it'll come off. I mean, it'll come off with great ease. So that immediately tells you that surface was not cleaned. You missed a spot, and you got to go back. So you know, I had a few spots of it. Had something right in here that showed up. Stupid bugs. Anyway, yeah, you're gonna get that. I'm outside. Had a spot right in here. A little spot here, up here. All along this edge that I had to reprime because apparently I didn't do it good enough, and I had to reprime it. So hopefully in the near future I don't have trouble with the paint falling off, because I did go back and hand sand it with 400 wet sand. But this is it. It's not done. I still got a whole box of trim work to do, but I'm not going to record anymore. You know, if anybody wants to see it, then fine, I'll indulge. Yeah, no problem. But I'm not getting very many views and 0 comments, so that's not helping my channel any. So this content is not helping my channel any, along with the Jeep Compass is not helping my channel any. So you know, I'm gonna post stuff anyway, whatever I feel like posting. But if you want to see the rest of this get done and this car complete, comment. Because this channel is not going to grow without subscribers, and if the algorithm doesn't put me out there to make me known, then I'm not going to make nothing for making the content. And it's not all about money, because this is actually fun to me. I like doing this kind of stuff, but it's a lot easier if I'm not recording. That's the reason why you didn't see me. I didn't show the content for the painting. Matter of fact, I think I started the video on doing the crack repair on these and starting the primer. I'm okay with the primer on plastic. To be fair, both of these panels were paint coated, actual two color paint with base coat clear. But I did have some plastic exposure and etc. So I went on and used the Zenseer anyway. I would use it again, but most likely not on steel. Plastic, yes. Steel, no. Because it is flexible. I did a full check on it. It does have flex, and when it cures in 7 days, it's very durable. So, to those of you that have actually watched the videos, I thank you. And I greatly appreciate it, because this kind of stuff I do like doing. I mean, this car was checking my earlier days on this. Matter of fact, I think I have turned this car into a playlist. And if you check the first video of this thing, it looked horrible. It did. It was black, base coat clear. I took it to a car wash one day and blew half the paint off of it at a car wash. So it had exposed plastic and then just black paint. It wasn't that great. The mirrors have made it in. They're in the living room. I haven't put them on yet because I've been focused on this. And like I said a few recordings back, I knew this was going to be a long process, and I'm only going to focus on one thing at a time. I'm not doing time management. I do not care. If this thing takes me 4 months to finish, then that's what it takes. Right now, it's been almost 3. But thanks for watching, people. And I hope you have enjoyed. The ones that have watched, I hope you've enjoyed watching the transformation in this car. I know I sure have. Been some hot, sweaty days out here. This tent's still holding in. I'll get it in the driveway before winter and use it for a shelter. And as far as, I mean, if you guys go through the trouble of getting a portable garage, do yourself a favor. Buy a deck board for mounts and use concrete block to hold them down. When the ground gets wet and the wind picks up, these legs pick up out of the ground. It's just, yeah, really annoying. They do have anchors, but the anchors are not for the middle. You can twist a frame that way. But enough about that. Thanks for watching, people. And on that note, this will be the last episode that I do on this Saturn. Unless somebody actually comments and requests that I continue, to please continue. If that happens, I'll keep going. The way things stand right now, I'm out of paint. Not completely, but I'm out of activator and hardener. I think I've got about 1 quart of paint left, and that's it. And that might be enough for all the trim. Have a good one. And thank you for getting your peepers on my video. Appreciate it.